Hey there, Internet. That's Jake.
And that's Niall.
And we're bringing you the Readiness Report. Jake and I are employees at the friendly local game store in Las Vegas, Nevada called the Little Shop of Magic. And since we work at a game store, we hear opinions on games all day long.
And now it's our turn to give you our opinion.
So on this episode of the Readiness Report, we're going to be going over the Hades Super Heavy Walker for the Post-Human Republic in Hawk Wargames Dropzone Commander. Like everything else in the game, it is a pretty gorgeous model.
Very impressive.
Yeah, it's a very impressive model when put next to the rest of the stuff in the game already. It's a ton of pieces. How many pieces was it?
18.
18 pieces. It's a huge chunk of resin as well. I mean, it's
quite a big chunk.
It's a big figure. In addition to that, one thing I really liked about this game in general, but this figure in particular that impressed me, was that the tail can fold down, can be built so the tail's folded down, so that it actually physically fits onto the dropship for the PHR.
Yeah, and you can magnetize it to your dropship if you really want. But it really will fit on there.
Yeah. And in game, it's really just as impressive. It's 4 words there for you: super heavy rail repeater.
Yeah, energy 12, 3 shots that you can allocate to different targets. It's quite an impressive weapon in the game. When you're against countermeasures, you got 36 inches. Yeah. That's near impunity against everything.
Yeah, considering the game's generally played on a 4-foot board, that's basically, you really don't need much more than that, especially considering how much terrain this game is typically played with.
Yeah, another impressive thing are not just that, but its other weapons on it are the 2 miniguns on the nose. Those are more powerful than every other small arm.
Yeah, I mean,
they're double the energy.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty much the most impressive anti-infantry weapon. That's not a primary weapon from a vehicle, and it also has the nanomachine swarm, which it can use to attack its enemies with. It can also use to heal itself or heal other units in the PHR.
Speaking of damage,
yeah,
8 damage points.
8 damage points.
9 armor.
So it can basically keep fighting on. And even if it does end up taking damage from something like a marksman laser from the UCM or something like that, it can still heal it with its own nanomachines.
And it is probably one of the fastest in terms of size.
Yeah, I mean, considering its size, it does move 4 inches, which is impressive in this game.
Very impressive.
When you consider that the medium walkers in this game move 3 inches.
3 and 2, yeah.
Yeah, 3 inches, and then 2 inches for the heavy walkers. The
quickest things move like 24, but that's a dropship.
Well, yeah, and then there's also, there's the light walkers that can move pretty quick too. But as far as just heavy stuff, this thing can, moves really quick, and we like to attribute that to the fact that one step of this thing, is
probably 4 of another.
Yeah, it's like 4 of any other walker. This whole package weighs in at a whopping 205 points, which is
easily can fit into any army.
Yeah, but that's also that's a big chunk compared to some other things. I mean, that's as much as 3 tanks and 2 howitzers in my army nearly.
Yeah, but like you said, I like the figure. I want to see what it can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, look at that thing. It's a scorpion with a giant railgun on its tail and machine guns for pincers. What's not to like about that?
Yeah. All around impressive.
So we've got a shot lined up here to show you just how big the Hades is. Here's some infantry. Light recon vehicle, medium tank, heavy tank, medium walker, heavy walker, and the Hades.
And the Hades.
Look at that thing. It's so big, it had to be shot in HD.
It's so big, it should be fighting kaiju.
It's so big that the government's deemed it too big to fail.
It's so big, it occupies 2 time zones.
It's so big, the tail is actually a colony belonging to the body and claimed from the indigenous people.
It's so big, it affects the tide.
It's so big, it has its own internet country code.
It's so big, the sirens have to run 10 laps around it in 15 minutes to pass their PT test.
So, as you can see, we're using the Cityscape Terrain pack from Hawk Wargames, in addition to some of the printout constructible buildings that they made as PDFs on their website. We're doing the encroachment scenario. This is the end of turn 3, beginning of turn 3. And we basically skipped past setup in turns 1 and 2 because nothing really happened. Unfortunately for me, though, the Post-Human Republic won initiative this turn, and I'm sure Jake's going to want to open fire with the Hades first thing.
Yeah, so countermeasure range is 36 on the big gun, the heavy rail repeater.
All right.
Your heavy tanks out there,
Yeah.
easily within range.
Yeah, don't even bother measuring that.
So 3 shots,
Hitting on
2s.
All right.
3 hits.
It's energy 12.
Yep.
All right, so armor 10. You're going to be needing 3s to wound them.
2 wounds.
2 wounds. Okay. Well, yeah, this isn't going to go well for me, I'm afraid. Alright, so I'm going to return fire with my heavy tanks into the Hades while they're still alive. Alright, each of them is 2 shots. So I'm going to need a bunch of dice here. So accuracy 2+, countermeasure range 24 inches. You're going to easily be within that.
Yes, sir.
So energy 10. What's the armor on that thing?
9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's going to need me a 4 to wound you after assuming I hit. Alright, and I can fire over myself because I have the articulated guns on here. So 1, 2, oh, that was actually a pretty good roll, but then again I only needed 2s. That actually was a very statistical roll. Hit 10 times out of 12. This one, we'll see. Needing 4s. Wow. 5 wounds. Alright. It's unfortunately not going to be enough to win this one for me, I think.
Alright, so top turn 4, as PHR, I want initiative again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the nano machines to repair the Hades for 1.
Alright.
4 wounds left. Then I'm going to shoot my heavy rail repeater at those tanks again.
Alright.
That's 3 hits.
Okay.
And need 3s to wound. 3 wounds.
Of course. Alright. Well, that's going to remove 1.
Alright, so for the next action, I'm going to use the Hades miniguns on the front to shoot at the infantry in this building. Since they're in the building, they'll be a little bit harder to hit, so I'll hit on 5s. I got 1 hit.
Alright, I think I can take that.
And I didn't wound.
Awesome. Just the way I like it.
Your turn.
Alright, I'm going to return fire with my heavy tanks again. So I have 1 less tank than I did the previous time. Still 10 dice though. Let's see. Alright, so needing 2s. Man, that's a lot of 1s. Hit 7 times it looks like. Alright. So let's try to wound this thing now. Man, I need to buy new dice. I only got 2 wounds on you.
Alright, so we're up to 6. We got 2 wounds left on that big thing.
Alright, so it's the top of turn 5. I won initiative this turn.
For a change.
Yeah, for a change. I've finally managed to get my Wolverines into position against the Hades. I think Jake's figured out what's going on there, though.
I don't like space lasers.
Yeah.
They kill planets.
Yeah, I'm totally going to try to shoot it with the using my commander and my tactical orbital strike. So let's see what kind of damage I can do. I mean, I've been trying to hit it anyway, but now that I finally have some scouts in the picture, maybe I can finally hit something. So let's see here. All right, I finally hit that thing. I mean, I still suffer that +1 because you moved, but you know, finally hit. Roll a 4. That'll do it.
Armor 9.
Energy 13.
That's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah. I think a 6 will do it.
Probably. So
All
I
right.
got one more hit left.
Only 1 wound left. All right. Go ahead.
I'm gonna use the Hades to wreck this whole squadron of buggies down here. So first, the heavy rail repeater is gonna shoot.
All right.
3 shots. 3 hits. Armor.
Just roll. Anything but a 1.
2.
2 wounds?
Yeah.
All right, pull 2 off.
Alright, and then next trick is the miniguns.
All right, that's what's the energy on those? 6?
6.
All right, you're gonna need 5s to win this one.
2 plus.
How many hits?
5.
Okay.
Is it 5s to win?
Yeah, 5 up.
2.
All right, pull the Wolverines off.
And then I will use the nano weapons, or the nano machines, to remove 1 damage.
All right. Completely negated my laser. So we didn't show you the results of turn 6. I'm sure you can guess what was going to happen there anyway. You know,
I think the Hades earned its points back
Yeah.
pretty handily.
yeah, it definitely was responsible for taking out the majority of my heavy tanks.
Took out all of the Wolverines.
It took out all the Wolverines, but beyond just that, it denied that whole part of the board to me, basically, and it distracted all of my heavy firepower the whole game. You know, I basically took out no medium walkers. I barely touched the heavy walkers because I was shooting at the Hades the whole time. I took out some APCs and a little bit of infantry.
Yeah.
You know, no big deal. And, you know, but yeah, the thing's definitely impressive. I just too many wounds.
Yeah, and I kept getting 1 back from the nano machines.
Yep. So, you know, I could not bring enough firepower to bear on it quickly enough. Maybe if I had brought my sabers up on it and turn right away from turn 3, so I shot at it with shot the sabers at it with my heavy tanks, I might have been able to take it out.
Yeah, because that first turn kind of surprised me, that amount of damage.
Yeah, I mean, I did that and I thought, you know, well, maybe it's not that impressive.
Yeah, definitely put me a little more on the back foot.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Readiness Report. Hope you enjoyed it.
If you want more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out the other videos there. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Shop of Magic and check out our Facebook page to get more gaming industry news and find out what's going on in our store.
It's so big, it should be fighting kaiju.
It's so big that the government's deemed it too big to fail. Super heavy rail repeater.